Canada has a housing shortage. We know that. Now a report from RBC says slumping pre-construction sales is not going to help. Let's go to Robert Hogue. He's the assistant chief economist at RBC Economics. Thanks for joining us today.
Well, thanks for having me.
Why are we having the challenges we seem to be having getting homes built in this country?
Well, currently it's because we've just gone through a period of high interest rates, and that has not really raised the bar in terms of affordability. So there's a lot of people who in the past would have bought before pre-construction that are just not moving ahead. And that includes investors as well. So all developers and builders who would love to be building new projects are just are having a hard time selling those units and are not moving ahead with new projects. So what we're having now is still in terms of construction, we're still working, but the industry is still working on units that were sold in some cases years ago. But what we're concerned about is the kind of pipeline for new units in the coming years just being quite bare as we speak. So in the near term, still quite a bit of new construction or new completions. But beyond that, I think we have to brace ourselves for a lull in new units being delivered to the market or the growth in the housing stock.
We've had several interest rate cuts at this point. So are there other reasons Canadians aren't buying pre-construction, for example?
Well, yes. The short answer right now, there's a lot of uncertainty with respect to the economy, and that's now largely trade war related. But at the same time, there's more inventory. In some cases, their new or developers are competing with units that are already available in the market. We've seen, for example, in a condo, think of big cities like Toronto or Vancouver, there's a lot more units that's already available. In some cases, probably some price points that are more attractive to new buyers than what builders can offer. So there's a lot of that complicates things for developers at this point. And so all of this, creates an environment where it's difficult to get going with new projects.
So, Robert, with the pre-construction sales not happening, how much of a hit is that on housing supply, comparably, as opposed to sort of homes that are built and already sold? How much are we missing out, or how much of a hit does the pre-construction slump have on supply?
Well, right now, very little, in the sense that the market, we're seeing a lot of inventory, especially condo units in large cities like Toronto, for example. So there's in terms of supply, the issue is not because of the lack of new pre-construction sales, for example. The lack of supply is not an issue as of right now. If anything, supply is rising in the very near term and likely to continue over the next several months, if not year. Our concern is much more of the pipeline of new units that should be getting under construction is not filling. So that the issue will be more in a few years' time. It'd be 2, 3, if not more years from now. This is where we're likely to see the supply diminishing at the time when more than likely we're going to see population start to grow faster again once we're gone through this adjustment in immigration policy that we're going through right now.
Tell me as well, if you can, about the shift to rental housing and what you're seeing there.
Right, and when you look at the completions over the last few years, now amongst Canada's major urban areas, so the census metropolitan areas, the purpose-built rental units have become the biggest type of housing that's been completed. And that's very encouraging in the sense that there had been very little new construction in purpose-built apartment buildings in decades. And that's the result of policy changes, a lot of incentives that have been put in place over the last several years. And the fact that vacancy rates, rental vacancy rates, had plummeted during the pandemic, reaching in some cases all-time lows, and the fact that rents had increased very rapidly, that made it a very attractive proposition, or a more attractive proposition for a lot of developers who in the past might have done condos that have kind of started to shift towards the purpose-built rental. So it's something that we had been concerned about for many years, that the stock of rental housing, purpose-built rental buildings that had not been growing either at all or not very much, now is starting to grow more rapidly, offering more options for Canadians, because not everybody are able to buy a home. Affordability has deteriorated significantly on the ownership side. There's a lot more demand relative to prior years in rentals. And so this growth in purpose-built rental building is a positive development. Now we need to do even more, given the prospects that affordability is likely to stay, at levels that will be difficult for many potential home buyers to meet.
Yeah, to buy in. Robert Hogue, appreciate you joining us. He is the Assistant Chief Economist at RBC Economics.